Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him. It's a sack.
Sixers.
Oh, baby.
And Flyers.
He scored.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
Let's go.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored.
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort studio, here's Josh Hennig.
Big Eagles win. Maybe not the way you might have wanted it, but it's the way that it needed to happen. I'll tell you why coming up here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig back from a busy weekend. Boy, was it a busy weekend. We got a lot of stuff to get to from the busy weekend in sports, for the Eagles, for football, and for yours truly as well, right here on 97.3 ESPN. Less than 20 minutes from now, we will talk with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press, get his thoughts on the NFL weekend ahead of course, another Monday night doubleheader. I mean, these doubleheaders are getting absolutely ridiculous. I'm not a fan of them personally, but it is what it is. We'll get to all that with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press in less than 20 minutes from now. As always, I love to hear from you guys on a day after the Eagles game at 609-403-0973 and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And before I do anything else, we are now, the Eagles are now 2-0 when I'm at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. We gave away the Saquon Barkley Eagles jersey. That was Courtney who won that. Congratulations to her. Brianna won the David Spade tickets yesterday. Also, Alyssa and Debbie won 4 packs for the hay rides. So it was great for all those people to win prize yesterday. And thanks to Tyler, George, and everybody else who stopped by the table yesterday at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. What a great day to watch the Eagles dominate. And that's really where I start before I get to the texts at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I am purposely starting with the reality, okay? And I know for some of you out there, in some ways, the game yesterday was frustrating, okay? I totally understand that. I totally get that, and I'm totally aware of that, right? I'm totally aware that for some of you, you still get the offense and say, this offense, for whatever reason, just can't get started on the right. And I get that. I totally do. But for me, yesterday's win was about the defense. And I'll get to Saquon in just a minute. But to me, yesterday was about a defense that went out there and dominated this game. That defense said, we are the better team, and we are not letting you have an impact on this game. You're talking about a defense that didn't just go out there and say, you know what, we know we could beat these guys. It doesn't matter if they score a touchdown or 2 against us. The Eagles have played 2 offenses who were in the bottom 10 of this league. And for 4 straight quarters, they have allowed 0 touchdowns, has this defense. They had 11 quarterback hits yesterday, 10 tackles for a loss. Nakobe Dean himself had 2 sacks. Jalen Carter basically whipped those Giants players. And so for me, I know for some of you out there, you're going to text in at 609-403-0973. You're going to hit me up on the DMs on the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And I know what you guys are going to say. Come on, Josh. You're going to say, Josh, they're supposed to beat them. And I totally understand where you're coming from. But guess what? If they didn't dominate them, you're the same people who'd be ripping them today. And that's the problem with these conversations. The problem with these conversations, when we have them, is it gets so easily forgotten that there's two sides to the coin. There's two sides to this story. And I'm not going to sit here and play that game. If you guys want to call into some other show or text some other show and play that game, fine. But I'm not going to. Because for me, I genuinely look at this Eagles team and I see a team that, let's be realistic, if they don't beat the Giants definitively yesterday, everyone is ripping them. So as I said, to me, the defense deserves a ton of credit. For me, the defense should be allowed to take a bow, right? The defense should be allowed to have their moment to say, you know what? We did our job. You know what? We did what we were supposed to do. And I'm going to give you credit for that. Because again, we sometimes get so hung up on it wasn't exactly the way we wanted it to go that I think we forget that, you know what? You're not always going to get what you want. You're not always going to get it the way you want it. Now, look, I got plenty to say about the issues on the offense, and we'll get to that as well. But I want to start with complimenting the one side of the ball. And that is, I think the defense did their job. I think Vic Fangio obviously has put this team in a position where they have come out of the bye week fully focused, firing on all cylinders. All right, that's number one. Number two, Saquon Barkley had himself a game. One of the best games in Eagles history for a running back. But I thought the comment that Nick Sirianni revealed that Saquon Barkley confirmed after the game was almost more important than Saquon's actual performance on the field. This was Nick Sirianni after the game yesterday talking about how Saquon was in range of breaking his own single game record for rushing. Nick Sirianni, go.
I got the word from the box that he was close to his career high, and I sat there with him and I said, listen, here's where you are and here's what it is. And he looked at me and he said, I mean, this gives me chills to think about. Like, this guy is such a great teammate and all he cares about is winning. And he looked at me and he said, let the other guys eat. And I was like, you're special, dude.
That is an amazing aspect to bring up here. Because there's not a lot of guys in the world of sports who would have that reaction, who would have that attitude. I think Saquon deserves a ton of credit for, first of all, how about the self-awareness? How about the self-awareness for Saquon to not just be like, you know what, let other guys eat. It's the idea that he's saying, you know what, I understand that this team is going to need a lot from me down the stretch. I understand that this team is going to need a lot from me as we get closer and closer to the playoff run. And because of that, I need to not put any unnecessary wear and tear on my body. That's the first thing I took away from that. The second thing I took away from it was you have a player in Saquon Barkley who basically made the decision that he looked around and was like, look, if I don't give guys like Gainwell and Shipley reps, are those guys really going to be sharp enough to go if this team needs them in a crucial situation? Again, it's self-awareness. It's understanding the big picture. The Saquon Barkley signing has been arguably the biggest win of the offseason. Bill Belichick on the Pat McAfee show earlier today said this.
It was a great move by Howie and the Eagles to not only get a great player, but to take a great player from another team in your division. So that's kind of like a double hit there. You know, it's like winning a double header instead of just one game. You don't only get a good player, but you take one from your competitor. So I thought that was a great acquisition by Philly.
The Saquon Barkley move is looking more and more like the best move of the Eagles offseason. Because we know it's not Bryce Huff. Oh, man, he's been bad, right? We know that it has not been certain other players, right? We know who it hasn't been. So, for an organization like Philadelphia, for an organization that, frankly, made a lot of moves between the draft and offseason free agency to retool the defense, it's the addition on offense that is looking to be the most important. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And again, thanks again, the Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. What a great job they put on with the game yesterday. Great to see the Eagles win. We'll be back there on November 10th for the Eagles-Cowboys game. So we'll see if we can go 3-0 at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. It was great to give away the Saquon Barkley jersey. It was great to meet all the people coming up saying hello. We appreciate everybody who came out for the game. It was great to see the Eagles get a dominating win for once. How about that? All right. We'll check the text board a little bit later in the hour. And Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press will join me coming up on the other side. We'll recap the state of the NFL and look ahead to the final games on the slate for NFL Week 7 right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
Let's go, and it is caught into the touchdown. Yes, Brown. When there's a question, go to A.J. Brown.
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, celebrating football season with special new menu items. The Kelsey Combo, created by number 62 himself, a handcrafted barbecue burger, world-famous crab fries, and an ice-cold garage beer. Our incredible jumbo soft pretzel, Chicky style, with a heaping skillet of our own in-house crab dip, and our delectable sweet heat wings, where a portion of the proceeds go to the A.J. Brown Foundation. Participating locations for a limited time. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Our new menu includes our boneless wing special every Monday. Buy a single order of our mouth-watering boneless wings and get a snack order of boneless wings free. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, it's buy one, get one free snows. Buy any number of delectable snow crab legs and get the same amount free. Plus the Kelsey Combo, tasty buffalo fried shrimp, seafood pasta in our famous Sicilian or red sauce. Participating locations for a limited time. Chickies and Pete's.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Time of year for killer deals. You've had your eye on some hot new wheels. We want to pay off your loan or lease and tell your old car to rust in peace.
Take your Matt Black Kia today. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Black Kia wants to get you released and treat yourself to $0, 0 payments until next year. Even 0% up to 72 months on ad-free, clearly marked new Matt Black Kia in stock. You won't need a costume to get a brand new Matt Black Kia Forte LXS under 20 grand. That's right, a brand new Kia, just $19,999 with any trade. That's less than most used vehicles.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With 24 TV 9 and 6, $13.88 per thousand. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payments. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblackkia.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Through KMF. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 10/31/24.
Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The best call to make on game day is ordering catering from the Piccadilly Inn. For parties big or small, the Pick does it all. Your guests will be cheering for the Pick spin on football favorites like pulled pork nachos, cheesesteaks, burgers, and their award-winning buffalo wings, tails, and ears. Get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 at the Piccadilly Inn. Join the flock and follow the Pick on Facebook or at piccadilly.com for their Pick game specials. And be sure to pre-order to guarantee your spot in Sunday's lineup.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. Saquon Barkley with 176 yards rushing and a touchdown against his former team as the Eagles easily beat the Jets 28-3 on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Philadelphia improving to 4-2. Jalen Hurts had 2 rushing touchdowns. He finished with 114 yards through the air, including a touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. Philadelphia held the Giants to just 119 total yards with 10 first downs. NBA, the Sixers opening up the regular season Wednesday night. They'll be hosting Milwaukee. Joel Embiid should be good to go. He missed the entire preseason, managing his knee. But Paul George will be evaluated this week for a bone bruise that he suffered last week in a preseason game against the Atlanta Hawks. Flyers back on the ice Tuesday night hosting Washington. This is a home and home. The two teams will play in D.C. on Wednesday. Philadelphia looking to snap a 4-game losing skid after they fell Saturday night 3-0 to the Vancouver Canucks. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The warm, sunny, bone-dry weather continues for another couple days here, feeling more like typical Labor Day weather than late October. Clear and cool tonight, not as cold as the past few nights, low of 55 degrees. Tomorrow, very similar to today, sunny skies, nice and warm, high 78. Mostly sunny and breezier Wednesday, high 76, down to 64 on Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use, at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We'll get your guys' thoughts and comments on the Eagles' victory over the Giants in just a bit. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Also, your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank. I see Albert right now joining me on the phone line, traveling to and from around all over the NFL. He covers the whole NFL. It's Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining us right now on the phone line here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Josh, and I'm heading to Raymond James Stadium for the Buccaneers-Ravens Monday night game, and it just makes me think of all the dreaded drives in from New Jersey to Lincoln Financial Field to cover Eagles games that usually take 2.5 hours to get through traffic. And I got to tell you, my ride from my house to Raymond James is similar to whatever my hotel or my former home was to the Link, and it only takes about 35 minutes here. It's so convenient, and yeah, it doesn't make me miss the Link at all.
All right, well, instead of making us jealous, let's get to some positive news here, Rob, because I know there's a lot of Eagle fans who are out there who are like, well, we still have to drive to the Link from New Jersey. Let's get to what we saw yesterday, which was, I said before you came on, Rob, I think the Eagles deserve credit for winning in a convincing way, because I feel like the same people who are complaining, Rob, that, oh, you only beat the Giants, would be the same people complaining if they didn't beat them by 28-3.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to ask you this. Are there people actually complaining about yesterday's win?
Well, there are people who are saying that, it was the Giants. You only beat the Giants. They're a bad team. You know how it is.
Oh, come on, Philly. Listen, Josh, we've had these conversations. I think I've probably been one of the more positive Eagles analysts out there. As late as last week when we had a conversation, was it Thursday or Friday? I said I still think they're going to win the NFC East, and I still think that they're going to be a better team as the season wears on. And when you look at what happened yesterday, it was a major big step. Let's start with defensively. 2 games in a row, they haven't allowed a touchdown. What more can you say? They got to the quarterback, they sacked the quarterback, and they are a little bit – their guys are stepping up and stepping into their roles, getting more acclimated and comfortable with Vic Fangio. So the defense has been now 2 weeks in a row stellar. On the offensive side, Jalen Hurts didn't have to do too much in the air because the ground game was working so effectively with an offensive line that's a little bit banged up, missing some key players. And to be able to see Saquon Barkley do what he did yesterday, 3 runs, 38, 41, 55, 176 yards. They just kept running the ball. Jalen made a play with his legs. Jalen made a gorgeous pass to A.J. Brown. Now, he was 10 of 14, and I think took a couple sacks where it looked like he wasn't seeing the field. There was a play where I think he could have thrown a touchdown to Saquon Barkley, and he didn't. I forget what happened on that play. I just remember Saquon's open, and he didn't make the throw. It might have been incomplete or a sack. So he's still got room to improve. But overall, I think it's an enormous positive what the Eagles were able to do against the Giants, winning convincingly, no drama, no issues on the sideline, and coming out of that game Now you got to go to Cincinnati. And before you get there against the beatable Bengals team, I think that everyone should take a little bit out of Aaron Rodgers' whatever year it was playbook and relax a little bit. I think the Eagles are stepping up right now and showing that they are going to be a competitive team beyond the NFC East. Winning the NFC East isn't good enough, but in the NFC, the Lions went into Minnesota and proved that they own the NFC North and it goes through them. Eagles already beat Green Bay. You got to worry about the Lions. And then seeing what the 49ers have dissolved into, I'm not concerned about the Niners anymore, Josh. And I don't know when or if they're going to get healthy, but I thought coming into this year it was going to be Niners and Eagles and maybe a little bit of the Cowboys. Cowboys, forget about. The Commanders are now going to be without Jaden Daniels week to week. And you got to look at the Buccaneers because they handled the Eagles so well. And if you're an Eagles fan and you're worrying about down the road and playoff home and away and all that stuff, you got to be rooting for the Baltimore Ravens, clearly, tonight. And the Bucs are no guarantee to even win the South because they face the Falcons next week on a short week and already lost to them. So I think it was not only a great day for the Eagles themselves, but great for them all around looking at the NFC.
If we could backtrack to the comment you mentioned about Jalen, and yes, there were a couple of those sacks where it's just like he's just holding the ball forever. And this team still continues to have trouble, Rob, scoring in the first quarter. So it's like,
yeah,
it has to make you wonder, like, if the defense hasn't been allowing 0 touchdowns for 8 straight quarters, how different is the conversation we're having? Because let's be realistic. Outside of Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, almost nobody had an impact on the Eagles' offense. I mean, even Devonta Smith had minus receiving yards yesterday. So what is your take on this Eagles offense, Rob?
They're starting slow, and they got to figure that out because it's now 6 games. I think they're up to 39 total yards. Interception week 1, 5 punts, 3 and outs, or 4 and out, as it was the case yesterday. I don't care if you don't score first, if you end up with 28 points anyhow. So if you're not scoring first, but you're scoring enough, I'll take it. That said, yeah, you don't want to fall behind, and good for them that their defense is playing so well. But overall, I look at the offense as a positive coming out of yesterday because they made the pass plays that they needed to, and they ran the ball so effectively where you are getting back to a little bit of 21. Remember when they turned the corner with Nick after the 2-5 start and the struggles, and they just became a run-first offense, and they started grinding out 200 yards on the ground, and obviously 22. They had a big one of, if not the top 3 rushing offense in the league. If you're able to run 260, 270 yards a game, you're going to control the clock. You're not going to have to pass the football much. You're going to limit turnover opportunities. Oh, and by the way, now, Jalen, 2 weeks in a row, mistake-free. I won't say mistake-free. I'll say turnover-free.
Turnover-free,
yeah. I guess you could put mistakes as misreads or holding the ball too long. That could be a mistake in certain situations. But 2 games in a row, turnover-free. Running the football so effectively is just going to open up so much more for this offense going down the road and allow Kellen Moore to do more. He can run more different complexities. He can do a lot of different things because teams, and they should have been all along, look at Saquon Barkley's on pace for 1,850 yards. So you got to go into a game against the Eagles as a defense and game plan to stop Saquon Barkley. At the same time, there's A.J. Brown and there's Devonta Smith. And, yeah, Dallas Goedert was out yesterday. To win a game like that, to put up 28 points and you get minus yards out of Devonta Smith, that to me is a pretty impressive stat.
Rob Meyer from the Associated Press joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. Rob, I want to go a little big picture on the NFC East because one of the conversations that have been had throughout the day today has been about the fact that, all right, the Eagles now, they won a division game. They got one of those under their belt. So now with the NFC East, Eagles are there, Commanders. I mean, they're interesting because we'll see how, I know Jaden Daniels was ruled week to week, but obviously he's not a long-term issue with his ribs. Cowboys, I mean, for goodness sake, nobody knows what they even are. And we could discount the Giants. So where are the Eagles? Like, are they the cream of the crop in the East? Are they the front runner in the East? Are they a contender for the East? Like, what are the Eagles right now? Because realistically, Rob, the NFC East is open, right? And the only really impressive team in the NFL right now is the Lions, right? I think we lost Rob there for a moment. We'll try to recalibrate and get him back. I heard all the wind come through, and then I didn't hear him again. So let's see if we can get Rob back on here on 97.3 ESPN. 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, I will get Rob back in just a moment. But the comment I made to him, the reason I ask it is because, one of the concerns when it comes to the NFC right now is there's really only one team that's looked great in the last 4 weeks, and that's the Lions. So outside the Lions, are we really supposed to believe that outside of the Lions, I should say, are we really supposed to believe that there's a dominant team in the NFC? So if the Eagles are a contender, the favorite in the NFC East, what does that mean for a conference that 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, he's done for the year. Deebo Samuel left in the middle of the game with an illness, so the 49ers continue to be shorthanded. The Vikings lost their first game of the year. The Packers, I mean, they kind of are Denny Green. They are who we thought they were. The Cowboys are nowhere near what anyone, well, at least certain people thought they would be. So where are the Eagles in the big picture? See if we get Rob Maaddi back up here. Rob, we got you over there?
Can you hear me?
I got you now, yeah.
I think your question was about the Eagles in the NFC overall, beyond the NFC East. And as I've been saying all along, I feel they're going to win the NFC East. As far as the NFC is concerned, you look at the Eagles now, and the Lions appear to be the team to beat. I still think the Vikings are going to come back even more than yesterday. They lost yesterday. They didn't look so great against the Jets, but won in London. And they may end up not making the playoffs. I'm not convinced that the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. The Lions look like the best team in the NFC. The 49ers are so banged up and so beat up, I don't know when they're going to get healthy or what they're going to look like. But I'm not concerned anymore about that team. And I'm slightly concerned if I'm the Eagles about the Buccaneers because they've had their number for the past few years. But other than that, I think if the Eagles can continue to improve, get more and more comfortable with their coordinators, make the adjustments that they need to make as the season wears on, I still think they got a realistic shot at competing for the Super Bowl. I had them winning the Super Bowl before the season started. I'm not as positive about that outcome as I was before the season, but I still think that if they can continue to make some of these improvements, they have enough talent to where they should be in the mix.
Couple more for Rob Maaddi. Rob, but just let you know, way it sounded on the radio, it sounded like you threw your phone out the window for a minute before you came back. So I'm just like, it was kind of a funny moment there. So, but Rob, I did want to ask you some beyond the Eagles questions because the Lions, I mean, the stat that just dropped earlier today was ridiculous. How the Lions have 18 touchdowns in the last 4 games, and Jared Goff has 15 incompletions in the last 4 games. So is Jared Goff a bona fide MVP candidate?
Oh, most definitely. Jared Goff has to be in that conversation right now. And Sam Darnold was for a few weeks, and I think Jared Goff is probably up there as a leading candidate, especially when you look at Kansas City being 6-0 and Patrick Mahomes is having statistically his worst season of his career. So if you look historically at who has won the MVP award, it's often been a quarterback from one of the teams that gets a first-round bye. And right now it's trending towards the Lions being that team, and that would put Jared Goff in that spot. Now, a lot can happen between now and the end of the season. Baltimore they've looked really good the last 4 weeks, and they can continue to make a push for, especially if they're number 2 and Mahomes' numbers don't end up looking like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar could be in that conversation. If the Bengals somehow make the playoffs, Joe Burrow could be in that conversation. But right now, the front runner certainly has to be Jared Goff. And we know that non-quarterbacks, it's been a long time since a non-quarterback has won. Adrian Peterson was the last running back, and he did it the year he came back from a torn ACL. But if the Eagles go on a run and win the NFC East, as I think they will, and maybe finish with a top 2 seed, Saquon Barkley could be in the conversation. He's not going to win, but he could be in the conversation too.
I'll just say, I'll let you know, Rob, if any of your voters vote for Mahomes to be MVP by the end of this year, I will gladly debate them on any debate show because I will take them all on. To me, there's only the 2 MVP candidates right now are Josh Allen in his cape he keeps putting on and Jared Goff. I mean, Mahomes literally won yesterday because of his defense. Like, Steve Spagnuolo is having an amazing year. Like, I never thought they could get better than the Chiefs defense, Rob, but they look better this year than they've had in years past.
I couldn't hear any of your question, Josh. I apologize.
I think your phone just hates me. I was just saying I think the Chiefs defense deserves a lot of credit because of how well they're playing.
It's breaking up really bad. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm sorry.
All right, we're going to have to let Rob go. He's having some technical issues out there. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joined us here on 97.3 ESPN. Live radio, man. You know, sometimes the technology works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you want to get people on the video, and the video is bad, and the audio is good, or the audio is good, and the video is bad. It's always an adventure. It's always something in sports talk radio. Everything's going fine. The conversation's going great, and the guy's like, I can't hear a single word you're saying. The worst is when, if any of you listen to 97.3 ESPN when it's not between 2 and 7 p.m., when we have our national shows from ESPN Radio, the worst is when, like, if you're listening to a show like Carlin versus Joe on the midday, or Amber and Ian, who comes on after me on ESPN Radio. You have those shows where it's like the one person their mic works, but they can't hear the other person, and they're troubleshooting it in real time. I mean, it's not just South Jersey sports talk radio. It's a national problem. Everyone's technology doesn't always line up properly. You'd think with all the iOS updates and the Android updates and the Windows updates and the Google Analytics and all the yada, 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 you'd think at some point technology would work, but it doesn't apparently. All right. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. I'm going to get through text messages, 609-403-0973, your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I see George from Galloway as well as Tom from the Villas. Your text coming up next on 97.3 ESPN.
This is Kevin Harlan from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. We'll have great matchups all season long on the road to the playoffs and Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Join Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and me for one of the NFL's great traditions, Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services, heating, cooling, and plumbing. The helpful team is now making house calls in South Jersey. Visit AceHardwareHomeservices.com to book today.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Our new menu includes our boneless wing special every Monday. Buy a single order of our mouth-watering boneless wings and get a snack order of boneless wings free. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, it's buy one, get one free snows. Buy any number of delectable snow crab legs and get the same amount free. Plus the Kelsey Combo, tasty buffalo fried shrimp, seafood pasta in our famous Sicilian or red sauce. Participating locations for a limited time. Chickies and Pete's.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
You go into your shower feeling... But as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Prices are tumbling down during the Fall Into Savings event at Boardwalk Honda. Get fantastic fall pricing on our entire lineup of new Hondas. Right now, lease a new 2024 Honda Prologue for only $189 a month. Or lease a new 2025 Honda CR-V LX for just $269 a month. Both for 36 months. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal. Visit HondaBoardwalk.com for low lease payments. Toll free at 484-246-6754 for more details.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit calvielectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Before we get to Tom for the Villas and more at 609-403-0973 and your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, I do want to give a shout out to the folks over at Hard Rock Casino in Atlantic City. They really hooked me up on Saturday. What a great comedy show they had at the Sound Waves Arena. The opener was one of my favorite comedians, Tara Canastrassi. She was amazing. I mean, she literally ended her stand-up by taking somebody's phone and having a conversation with the mother of this guy in the crowd, because the guy answered a FaceTime call in the middle of her stand-up show, and he was maybe like 2 rows from the stage. I wasn't much further from the stage myself, so thanks to Sound Waves and thanks to Hard Rock in Atlantic City for hooking me up. And the headliner, Vic DiBenedetto, he was amazing as well. But Tara, Vic, amazing job. They rocked the house. My face was still hurting the next day from laughing so much at the jokes over there. So thanks, everybody at Hard Rock Atlantic City, for hooking me up, for getting us in there. Great job with the comedy show on Saturday night. So that was part of my busy weekend. I had a busy weekend. I was out and about. I went and saw American Idol star Carly Maffa in the afternoon. I saw comedy on Saturday night. Grabbed the station truck, went to Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for the Eagles game on Sunday. I was there for the whole game, so I got to see it from beginning to end. So a busy weekend for yours truly. But we're back in the South with the main schedule here, back in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios on 97.3 ESPN. All right. As promised, text board is open, 609-403-0973. Tom for the Villas chimes in and says, I have to say we shouldn't be sleeping on Washington. They are playing really good football. That's from Tom in the Villas. Tom, it's an excellent point, because there's 2 reasons why you can't sleep on Washington. Number 1 reason is their point differential. And I know for some people, stats, it makes some of you guys roll your eyes. I get that. Some of you have told me that in person, that sometimes we all use stats too much, and I totally get that. But Washington, for a team that is not a great defensive team, all right? And I think anyone with half a brain knows they're not a great defensive team. They are one of the only teams in the NFL to score over 200 points so far this year. They're one of the only ones. Think about that for a minute. Their point differential is not because they're a great defense, okay? This isn't like the Lions, who are plus 62 because their defense has allowed 32 fewer points than Washington. No. Washington has scored 218 points this year. And they scored some of those points yesterday with a backup quarterback in Marcus Mariota, who the last couple of years, Mariota looked washed and no good for anything anymore. And he goes out there against Carolina and just lights them up. Look around the NFL, and you guys can fact check me on this. Who are the other great offenses in football right now? Where are they? Who are they? That's the problem with this conversation. You can't find them. Now, yes, if Baltimore scores at least 24 points tonight, which I expect they will, then they will be in that 200-point club with Washington. But outside of Baltimore and Washington, who else is there? Tampa can join them. Tampa has 178 points right now. If they score 22 tonight, if Baltimore wins 24-22, Baltimore and Tampa join Washington, and that's it. to me, Tom and the Villas, the biggest reason why Washington has to be considered is because they are statistically one of the best offenses in football with a rookie quarterback, a solid but not great offensive line, and realistically, a team that I don't think anyone looked at them as that's an elite offense. I thought we might they'd be good. You know, me and Andy McNamara, he joins the show every week, and we talked numerous times, me and Andy, about how we liked Jaden Daniels before the year to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I don't think any of us thought that Washington was going to go out there and be statistically the best scoring offense of football. They are the first team with 200 points this year. And the only teams that can join them right now on that list before the end of NFL Week 7 are the two teams that you will hear tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. That is Baltimore and Tampa. Those two, they're in there. They're in the conversation. But boy, oh boy, I'm just telling you guys right now, Washington is a threat. Tom from the Villas is right. Because their offense can score with anyone. And I wouldn't have guessed that coming into the year. Now, you could argue the Eagles' offense would be better if they didn't have so many injuries. You could argue that Detroit had a slow start to the year and a couple games where they scored very few points at the beginning of the year. You could argue if Seattle was healthy, where would they be? And I get all of those questions and those points. But you think about this. Washington has two losses on the year. And they are to the two teams you're going to hear tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Baltimore and Tampa. In both of those games, they scored at least 20 points. Every other game this year, aside from one, this team has scored 30 or more points. Cincinnati, Arizona, Cleveland. You know, the Eagles can only score 20 points against Cleveland. Washington scored 34. So the Washington question, to me, is something that cannot be ignored. Now, the only problem for Washington is their bye week is late in the year. So if they have any injuries like they have with Jaden Daniels right now, between now and the bye week, they're in a tough state of affairs. Daniels, by the way, he is week to week with a ribs injury. So something more to keep an eye on and think about as we go down the stretch. And again, the Eagles will play Washington November 14th, Thursday night football. So good point there from Tom and the Villas. And before we get out of here, a couple of things I want to address. I met some very nice Giant fans yesterday. Some very nice people. And shout out to the people at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. A great job with the game and the watch party yesterday. But I met some very nice Giant fans. But none of them were hating Saquon Barkley the way the idiots were in the parking lot yesterday. And I'm going to have an article posted about this on 973ESPN.com tonight. And that is, some of you people need to relax. Some of you guys need to get a grip on reality. Saquon didn't bail on the Giants. The Giants organization didn't want him. They literally have documented evidence on Hard Knocks where the GM told Saquon to go out in the market and find out what his value is. And Saquon had been on the record saying, I want to be here playing for the Giants in New York with you guys. And then when his agent called Joe Schoen, the GM of the Giants, and Joe Schoen said, yeah, we're not going to match that number. That was Saquon basically being told, you're not worth it to us. So the fact that you have Giant fans burning his jersey and trying to get his attention saying, see, we're burning your jersey, bro. I mean, what kind of immature childish malarkey is that? I mean, if you are friends or know the Giant fans who were burning Saquon jerseys at the MetLife Stadium parking lot yesterday, I hope you tell them that they should be ashamed of themselves. Because it's another example of how imbeciles ruin it for the rest of us. As I said, I know tons of Giant fans. None of them blame Saquon for leaving. But yet you have this small group of idiots who make the entire fan base look bad. It's seen with the Cleveland Browns. I was told by people in Cleveland that the fans as a whole were not booing Deshaun Watson getting injured. Or they weren't cheering him getting injured. They were cheering for the fact that they were getting a new quarterback on the field. The problem is that because there's a handful of people who are putting on social media, I'm glad Deshaun got injured, it makes the whole group look bad. We got to find a way to weed out the idiots, making the rest of us look bad. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. Have a great everybody.
Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3.
I did want to say here on my YouTube channel, at Josh Hennig on YouTube, I will not be doing game night tomorrow. The Flyers game has been moved to 6 p.m. They're doing a special. Basically, every NHL team is playing tomorrow throughout the day, throughout the night, and ESPN has this special, Hockey Night in America deal where all the teams are playing. So I will not be on game night tomorrow, but I just want to follow up with one more point on the fans. I love passionate sports fans, but I have no patience for idiots. And I think the problem in our society is we have allowed the last arena of real common sense and meritocracy and, level-headed competition to be adulterated by political idiots. Because we have in America right now where a Baltimore Ravens fan gets to run around in a Ravens jersey and assault people on camera, and the police take days to track this guy down, even though he put his information out on the internet. We live in a world where Giant fans are burning Saquon Barkley jerseys. We live in a world where Browns fans, there are some who are legitimately happy that Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles and he is out for the year, even though he is a perverted predator, as was confirmed by the independent investigator hired by the NFL. Their words, not mine. We live in a world where you have this handful of people who are being allowed to make everyone else look bad. And I just encourage anyone who is watching me on my YouTube channel, at Josh Hennig, like, subscribe, share with your friends. I just encourage you guys. We need to start having higher standards for the people in our social circles. There are as somebody who has done a lot of psychology study in my spare time, there are a lot of studies that show that a lot of people will perform certain actions or they will follow through on their emotional, what's the word? Their emotional state of mind. They will act out on those emotions if they are encouraged or prodded to, even if the actions are not something they really want to do necessarily. If they are in the right social setting, they will do them because the environment or the people in their environment are prodding or encouraging or enabling them to do so. And I think it's about time, no matter whether it's politics, whether it's sports, no matter what arena it is, we got to stop enabling the people who are making the rest of us look bad. I had this problem when it comes to one of my passions. For those who may not know, but you might just be learning now, aside from sports, I'm passionate about history, I'm passionate about Marvel and DC Comics, and I'm passionate about psychology. And I've noticed a lot in the world we live in that there's a lot of people who get to use their platforms on YouTube and Twitter X and social media to say whatever they want, and nobody challenges them, no one questions them. Well, part of the reason why no one challenges them and questions them is because they have this like support network of idiots who defend them no matter what they say, no matter what they do. And I think it's about time that if you really believe the stuff that you say you believe out there, it's time to start putting your money where your mouth is and stop enabling the people who put out incorrect information, misinformation, or people who act as immature children or imbeciles or just bad people in general. We gotta stop enabling them. We gotta stop making it into a joke. We gotta start treating them like they are, oh, well, that silly stuff is happening over there. It doesn't impact or influence me at all. We all have to do a better job at putting ourselves in the situation and say, we expect more of everyone around us, because if we did that, like I said about Nick Sirianni last week, we have people in our lives who would never let us get away with acting like that. So we shouldn't let other people either, because as the old saying, one rotten apple ruins the whole bushel. You cannot let this one person or this one bad apple keep making things bad for the rest of us. Sports supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be escapism. It's supposed to be a positive element in our world. And sometimes these idiots are being allowed to infiltrate and ruin it for the rest of us. Again, I will not be on the radio tomorrow at 6 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN FM. I'll try to pop on here for a short video tomorrow night at some point. Take care, everyone. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. And by the way, we went 7-0 on our NFL picks this weekend. So Football Fridays, I hope you guys are tuning in every single Friday when I give you those picks. We had 7-0 on the NFL picks. So I hope you guys were listening on Friday and threw down some shekels to help yourselves, whatever your reasoning is. I just hope you're not using that money to buy Christmas gifts. I digress. Have a great night, everybody.